All right. Well, first of all, Joe, this movie is a lot of fun. I mean, talk about a blast from the past. I cannot wait to talk about your look head to toe. But before we do that, why is this one a must see, especially if you're an 80s music fan?
Well, if you're an 80s music fan, then you had to come in contact with the Smiths at some point. I mean, the Smiths were so influential at that time. Morrissey was like Elvis to an entire generation. So, you know, certainly if you're of that age bracket, then this film is for you. We also took great pains to make sure that, you know, the period part of the film was not done in a, that it wasn't done in a cartoonish fashion. Right. That the style, the costumes, the hair, the makeup were all authentic. We wanted to build a time machine back to 1987 and the coffee shops and clubs and house parties that people would have gone to at that time. And I think we definitely achieved that. You know, on the other side, I think I'm excited for a generation of young people. It's a film about young people. And so I'm excited for a generation of young people to discover Smith's music all over again, because it's just as relevant now as it was then.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you explain for our audience, or maybe some of the younger generation who don't know exactly, the film is loosely based on a true story of someone who held a DJ hostage, technically, with a gun, and had them play only Smith's music after that breakup back in '87. What can you tell us about that time?
Yeah, so, you know, Details magazine, you know, there was a modern version of Details, but Details magazine in the 90s was very different. It was really like, you know, hardcore, like, you know, alternative music. It was the coolest magazine out at the time, and really dealt with the alternative scene. Yeah. And in it, they interviewed Morrissey at one point and talked to him about this story, this legend of this young man in Denver, Colorado in 1987, who was so distraught over the breakup of the Smiths that he held up his local hair metal station at gunpoint and forced the heavy metal DJ to play nothing but Smiths all night long to impress a girl he was in love with. And so that became the premise that our writer-director, Stephen Kayak, who is the world's foremost leading Smiths and Morrissey expert, he wrote this amazing script, and Morrissey and Johnny Marr were cool enough to give us 20 songs. Wow. Let us use 20 songs in the film, most of which had never been used for film and television. So,
which is so impressive. How did you convince Morrissey to say yes to the film? Was it an easy get?
Well, that was Stephen. So Stephen had inroads to Morrissey, and the way that I understand it, Morrissey was a fan of the script. He liked the script, and okayed it. I was part of a group that then went to pitch Johnny Marr's camp, because the two of them have to agree in order for anything to happen with the Smiths catalog. So, but they both agreed, and here we are.
Quite the triumph, quite the triumph. Break down that look for me. You talked about how you guys are really committed to making it feel authentic and like a true immersion into what 1987 actually looked like, instead of a caricature of 1987. So what was that for you? How did you step into that role? How did you feel when you got that beard going?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, there's a few different ways you can go with heavy metal in the late 80s. So, you know, you've got, you know, on one hand, you've got like kind of the LA glam rockers. You've got like kind of the Bret Michaels, or you've got like the Bon Jovi feathered look, or, you know, then there's like European heavy metal, which is like, you know, Iron Maiden, which would be like bangs and like the Prince Valiant-y kind of thing. And I didn't think either one of those was going to be right for me. And then I started looking at like Metallica, but even Metallica had the bangs in here. I was like, okay. And then I had remembered meeting Lemmy Kilmister. I met Lemmy at the Roxy on Sunset, and I went, oh my God, it's Lemmy. He's Lemmy. So I had the Lemmy handlebar, and you know, I had my hair down here at the time, so, you know, pull it back, and then and then I had, of course, you had the you know, the dangly cross earring, and
Yeah.
you know, so, and then you put together the battle vest, and you know, Ozzy and Motley Crue and Kiss, you know, were letting me use all these patches and let the costume department use them, and a testament, and so, you know, we started building the character out from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Quite the transformation. How much fun was it for you to step into this character and his world and kind of this period piece, technically?
Well, it's a blast. I think everybody at some point has joked around and done their radio voice. You know, what's up, Denver? This is Kiss 101 FM. You know, like, so when you start thinking about that, you know, it becomes this kind of like lifelong wish fulfillment to play that character. And we certainly had I had a ton of fun. And, you know, but also, like, you know, I was a real fan of, you know, like Eric Bogosian's talk radio. You know, when I was going through drama school, I loved Eric Bogosian. Oh my God, he was like God to me. So there's a bit of, you know, that, like, you know, radio DJ as like prophet and poet to the masses that he kind of turns into by the end of the film. And I always loved that character, whether that was in, like, you know, Do the Right Thing, or you know, Sam Jackson's character, or you had like Vanishing Point, you know, the you know, from the 70s, where, you know, you had this radio DJ who's like the voice, you know, the voice of the generation, the voice of the masses. And so you know, I think that's where the inspiration came for the character.
That's awesome. Well, it's definitely a fun watch. I want to make a bit of a turn here. You're clearly a celebrity, obviously. Your baby and best friend Bubbles, becoming quite the celebrity herself. You always post the most adorable pictures. So I just want to know, what is her story? How did she get that cute name?
She was adopted. She was a rescue. So I urge people out there, you know, as COVID, you know, we continue to spend a lot of time at home, and probably will be for, you know, for some time. I just, there's so many animals out there that need homes, and Bubbles was a dog who was surrendered because she was sick, and she needed a series of operations, or she was, you know, she was going to die, and they were going to put her down, and they couldn't find anybody to take her. And so, you know, I'm in a position where, you know, I just said, you know, no matter what happens, I'm going to help this little animal. And so I took her and I got her surgeries. And while she was in surgery, I filled out the adoption papers. And when she came out, they had removed 11 bladder stones and a cancerous cyst, and they cut around it, and we got her early enough that it couldn't spread. And so she's super healthy and happy and loves living with us, and she loves her dada. And so, you know, she certainly loved that I've spent so much time at home over the past year as well. So but it's just, she's just been, you know, the light of our lives since we got her, and she's so cute. So
you can tell she brings so much joy. Sweet little baby. I'm happy for you guys. You and Sofia have been married for 5 years now. So first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
Are you counting in your head? You're like,
well, I'm like, well, because we're coming up on like the first date anniversary in 2 months, and so I was like, but that's a different time. That's a different
you guys celebrate all the anniversaries. Me and my boyfriend are like, okay, so we might have to start eliminating dates, because we have like our first date, the first day we were like, I love you, and it's becoming too much as I get older for my brain to remember.
That's great. That's awesome. That's fun. Yeah.
What do you remember most about proposing to Sofia?
Well, it was on Christmas Eve. And I took her to Kauai, the island of Kauai, and I proposed while the sun was going down over the bay, and I had rented you know, this beautiful hotel room overlooking the bay, and I had a whole speech prepared in Spanish. So I had a big like, I mean, it was like a monologue in Spanish that I had, and she was really surprised. She had no idea I was that it was coming. So so she made me repeat the speech in Spanish because she couldn't even,
Like
she didn't even hear it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't even, oh my God, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, that's such a huge moment, and you know, in a you know, in a man's life, when you know, you propose, it's like a big, that's a big thing, you know, and you make that special, and you know, the planning of it and how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it. You know, it's such an exciting part of life.
Yeah, you've said it's the best decision of your life, and look
Mhm.
at Sophia. We all agree. We don't even have to know. When you first started dating, though, she said she was unsure because you were too young. You were an actor. What did it take for her to finally come around? Were you just, you know, consistency is key?
She says that, but
You're like,
she
lie,
didn't. I mean,
all
look,
lie.
yeah, no, I mean, you know, those might have been the things that she thought would have kept her from it, but you know, no, I mean, you know, right out of the gate, it was like, this is going to work. And I think, you know, I think we both knew that we were having fun.
That's beautiful. I'm happy for you. Before I let you go, I want to talk about you making your debut as the villain Deathstroke in the Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, this universe is, the fandom is just next level. So how are you feeling about the fact that it's already getting so much positive buzz? People are excited about this.
Well, I want to be sure to say that it's not my debut. I debuted 4 years ago when the film came out. So I was, I mean, I was in the theatrical cut, you know. We shot a scene to tease. So I was hired as the villain for the Batman movie.
Okay.
Now Batman didn't happen. So they changed the scene at the end of Justice League. Instead of teasing me as the villain in Batman, they teased the Justice League Part 2 that also didn't happen. So, you know, I was in the last version. So what's cool about this, about Zack's version, is that he restored the scene to the original end credits scene, which was to tease Batman. So all of the dialogue was restored to what we actually shot. And then we shot some more. So it was really cool to be invited back by Zack to come officially play in his world, because like I said, I wasn't cast by Zack for Justice League. I was cast to be in Batman, but the studio was going to unveil my character at the end of Justice League as a surprise. So so it's cool to be a part of the gang. I feel like I'm part of the, you know, I'm officially part of the group, which is cool. And it was great to get back with Zack. And yeah, I mean, the fans made this thing happen. They hit that hashtag, release the Snyder cut. And so, you know, it's really a phenomena in which fans demanded that they get what they want from the studio, and the studio listened. So that's unprecedented. And you know, I think especially the fans of Zack Snyder and of Justice League and of the DC universe they are like no other.
They really are.
You know, they are about as enthusiastic of a fan base as you're going to find anywhere, and it really is fun to be a part of that.
Yeah. Are we going to see the blue hair make a comeback anytime soon?
Blue, no.
Dyed it blue after the Silver Fox moment.
Well, the white hair, the white mohawk was obviously for Justice League, and then I shaved my head bald. I knew I was going to shave my head bald about 3 weeks after for this other movie that I did. You know, I'm completely bald. So in between, I got to dye it blue. So that was just for fun. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, hopefully these fans, you know, it sounds like the fans want to see more of my character. They want to see more Deathstroke. So I'd be happy to shave it back to the white mohawk and do some more. I would love that. I have a lot of story, I think, and I think there's a lot of cool ways that we could take the character. we didn't get to shoot the origin film that I was working on at the time either. And so all that work is still sitting there ready to go. So maybe a cool series for HBO Max. That would be fun.
Ooh, there we go. Pitch it, HBO Max. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, stand by for the Mohawk to make its return. But in the meantime, 80s all the way, baby. Let's go. Congratulations on the new film. Thanks for your time.